Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. What's going on, y'all, man? Listen, I have started this to go live this morning about an hour ago, and I've been troubleshooting, but we're here now, so we're not going to worry about that. We're not going to let nothing stop us. We're not going to let nothing keep us from getting the word. So yeah, I'm here today to bring you the word. The word for today, ladies and gentlemen, is club hoppers. First off, what's going on, man? Let me make sure y'all up in this joint, man. Y'all here, man? Let's go, baby.
The Chosen.
Yo, testing 1 2, testing 1 2.
That time I got that heat, let's go.
Greg Street in the building. I'm riding with my homie Big Cell. FHO Radio, the podcast with the FHO NIC. Big Cell, Lil Debo, aka the Brown Eminem. Coast to coast. On the mics. Fast Harleys only. Get with it.
My friends be like, how come you not famous yet? I be like, you didn't share my shit. How come you ain't shared it yet? That's what I don't understand. That's what
Hey, cocksucker. Yeah, you. Knock it off. Sit your ass down.
Sit your $5 ass down before I make change.
You think we playing?
And I ain't playing nothing.
You better listen up.
It's the FHO Live Podcast, where the truth will be told. We promise you that.
All right, man, what's going on? It's your boy, Big Cell, FHO's HNIC, man. You feel what I'm saying? One of the baddest to ever ride a motorcycle. I said it, I ain't taking it back. Y'all ain't gonna give me my flowers, so I'm gonna water my own flowers. You understand me? So this morning I want to preach about club hopping. Club hoppers. Club hopping, club hoppers. I put up a post the other day on Facebook about me used to be a block burner. When I first came to Atlanta, Georgia, I met Queen. She was riding motorcycles. I was doing the low rider / car thing. And I met her, and she was doing motorcycles, so I started hanging out with her. And in the process of hanging out with her, she introduced me to just different people and different things. So then she was like, "Babe, you ought to get a motorcycle." And the story goes, if you haven't heard the story, I'll tell you one other time. But anyway, she ended up taking me to a club called the Block Burners. And at the time, they were a motorsports club. They had a car club, they had a car division, and they had a motorcycle division. So I actually joined the Block Burners car division with one of the cleanest chargers in the ATL. I said it hands down. They couldn't. My charger was unfuckwittable in the ATL, and that's where I took off. I got my colors as a car, being in the car club division, the whole 9 yards, and then I wanted to switch over to the motorcycle division because it was just more. It just seemed like it was more fun. And all glory be to God. I'm glad I did switch over to the motorcycle division because look where I'm at now. So in the process of switching over, I started off with a moped, wrecked that, long story, hell of a funny story. And then I ended up riding a sports bike. It was a brand new 1000 that was given to me by my man. It wasn't given to me, but Selfish was getting ready to deploy. My man Selfish from Blockburn was getting ready to deploy. And he was like, "Hey, say while I'm gone, you can learn how, you can use it to ride the whole 9 yards." And it was cool. It was a cool gesture at the time. And I'll never forget him for that. I will always cherish him for that because they taught me a lot. Number one, it taught me brotherhood. It taught me real friendship, brotherhood, because the brother really, really, really didn't know me like that. But I think he knew of Queen more than so me. But anyway, started off on a 1000, and then I graduated to a Harley Davidson, to a full dresser that I bought from the candy shop. I was probably one of the first ones to cash out a bike from the candy shop. I don't know if I was. I believe I was the first one to cash out a bike from the candy shop from ATL because I actually paid for it without seeing it. Flew into LA. I met Snowman in LA at the airport. That was my first time meeting Snowman. I did not meet Snowman in ATL. I met Snowman in LA. He flew in to get his bike. I flew in because at the time we were trying to figure out how was I going to get the bike back to Georgia. And it was suggested, well, you could ride the month. You could just ride it. You ride it back to Atlanta. I'm like, oh, I can. I didn't know I could. But anyway. Like, yeah, Snowman got my boy Punch. Like, Snowman got to come out here and pick up his bike. Shit, hook up with him. Boom, boom, boom. So we met at the airport. Boom. And as a block burner, I rode my bike. I rode my Harley from California to Atlanta, which is a hell of a story within itself. But anyway, and that's just what it was. I believe I was one of the first on a Harley for block burners, which was cool. I came back to Atlanta. And Atlanta really wasn't doing a Harley thing back then. There wasn't too many people on a Harley. I'm maybe 10, 15, or 20. I'm not sure. I wasn't that deep into the scene like I am now. But it was only a few brothers that had Harleys when I first got my Harley here in Georgia. Rare Breed was here. They were established. I don't think the Kings were all the way established yet. So this is pre-Kings era. They might have been established. They might have been here. And they might have been just getting off the ground. I'm not sure. But it wasn't too many Harley clubs and there wasn't too many people riding Harleys. And that's just a fact. All right. So anyway, I graduated from that, got into the Harley scene. But in the process of that, me and a couple of people in block burners ended up having a friction. It was just what I believe, and I'm just going to state what I believe. What I believe it was that the powers that be, or the heads of block burners, and at the time it was Capone, he was the president, he wasn't teaching motorcycling. He was dictating motorcycling. And by that time, I had met Queen at the time, and Queen was teaching me, taking me around all the different clubhouses and introducing me to people. And it was I think I just kind of grew faster, whatever. No disrespect to block burners. It was what it was. The block at one time held the ATL down. It was the shit. The block burners used to be, they used to hold it down. I believe that crown now goes to the Kings of the South in Atlanta. So it just is what it is. But anyway, so in the process of that, we ended up getting into it, and I ended up leaving the block burners. But remember, I rode back home with Snowman. I rode from LA to ATL as a block burner, but I rode with Snowman at the time, who was a regulator. And so in the process of my disgruntled agreements with block burners, Snowman and Big Meat, at the time I had met Big Meat and Snowman and Big Meat was like, well, you need to come over here to regulators. And it was cool because at that time I think Queen was in the transitioning of a club or whatever. She was going through with her prior club or whatever, and we both was able to join regulators together. So we ended up joining regulators. So I went from block burners car club. I don't even ever know if I was inducted into the bike division of block burners, into the motorcycle division, but I knew I came in the car club division. So then I was inducted. You got to hear the who was that saying they got to hear the first cross country story? Oh man, who was that? I don't even want to get into that. Who was that? Somebody talking about you got to hear the first cross country story. What up, Dirty DJ Dirty doing this thing, man? I am so proud of you, brother. I really, really am. Pooh Man, what up with it? And Pooh Man, you probably know the history. What up, winner? Reggie. But anyway, so I ended up becoming a regulator. We ended up squashing the beef, whatever, with block burners because it had got all crazy and twisted or whatever. I became a regulator. Me and Queen both joined the regulators. I had to prospect the whole 9 yards. With the block burners, I never prospected. I don't even know if they were heavy into that stuff back then. I don't really know what they. Plus, I was in the car club division anyway, so prospecting might not have been what they were doing. So I don't know. But was in the regulators for a while, and I'm not sure. I think it was a disagreement between me and Quentin at the time, which is now my homeboy. Quint, what up, Quint? Which is now my partner, man, real good dude. And it just was. You gotta understand this, brothers and sisters. I come from Los Angeles, California. Born and raised in Compton, California. Ran the streets of L.A., Compton, Watts, Long Beach. And on the West Coast, the attitude is different, period. And just upbringing wise, as far as, and it's not to say that the West Coast is better than down south or down. I'm not saying that. I'm just telling you the attitude of the individual is different. In LA, you have to hold your own, stand your own, be your own, walk on your own, grab your own, everything. you don't get no respect for teaming up with an individual or teaming up. Now, I'm not saying that if you join the Bloods or you join the Crips that you don't, but I'm just telling you, even before doing that, you have to stand on your own, period. So that was just something different. So when I moved to the South and was hearing, oh, you can't speak this, and you can't say this, and you can't do this, and you can't do that, and I'm saying, who saying that you can't do this and you can't say that and you can't do this, and you can't ride your bike if they say you can't ride? It was just different. So me being from Compton, California, me being from the West Coast, and coming down south, it was just totally different for me. So it took me a while to adjust. Anyway, went from block burners, went to the Regulators, ended up leaving the Regulators and was independent for a while. And now by this time, the Harley Davidson movement is off the charts. It's taking over Atlanta by storm. Okay, you got the Kings here; they doing their thing. And at that time, the biggest rivalries were Rare Breed versus King. And I'm not talking about rivalries as in fighting. I'm just saying rivalries as in MC competition. You know, who got the cleanest bikes, who got the most bikes. You know, that type of competition, friendly competition. It was a friendly rivalry, and it was Breed versus Kings. So, mind you, when I first rode back from LA to Atlanta, it was destined for me to be a Rare Breed. Some things happened. The Rare Breed thing did not happen. And I ended up joining Regulators. Never prospected for Rare Breed or anything. I just ended up joining Regulators. So Regulators was my second club, okay? First club, Regulators was actually my first motorcycle club. Block Burners was my car club. And then Regulators was my first motorcycle club. So anyway, from Regulators, I ended up just being independent. It was just an independent thing. Ended up meeting Toby Lewis. We met, meeting Tebow, Toby Lewis. We met actually at a video shoot for A-Ball and MJG. If you find that video, I think Coming Out Hard video, whatever, they filmed it right here in Georgia. And I was one of the people that was helped to put it together, the coordination for the motorcycles and the bikers and all that. And we were in the video. My bike at the time, which was Blutiful, which is one of the coldest bikes in ATL, had the most knock. It was one of the loudest and coldest bikes in the ATL. I said it, I ain't taking it back. So it just was what it was. Okay. So I went from block burners to Regulators to being independent. Ended up meeting Tebow, and at that time I started my YouTube channel, and I was just filming and this and that. And ended up meeting Tebow and was asked would I like to join the Kings of the South, the whole 9 yards. I thought it was a good fit. And at that time, it was supposed to be me and my wife. So we were saying that, hey, the next club we join, we'll join it together that way. Boom. Because at that time, Queen was a riding motherfucker. With nobody damn near out riding Queen at the time. Cross country, state to state, she was doing her thing. So it was always just me and her, always riding together. So we said, we might as well be in the club together. But anyway, me joining the Kings, my wife, Queen, started the Queens of the South. Okay? She came up with the name. She came up with the name and everything, and she presented it to Tebow and them, and they thought about it and said, okay, let's go. Her, Ramona, and whoever it was, her and Ramona Davis really were the two main factors of the Queens of the South. They were the ones who birthed the Queens of the South. Anyway, so she decided she was going to do Queens of the South, I was going to do Kings of the South, and there we are. Now, all the while, I'm still brand new to ATL. I'm within my first 4 or 5 years of Atlanta. 3 or 4 years. First 3 or 4 years of Atlanta. I'm brand new. I'm here. The South is different from the West Coast, the whole 9 yards. It was just crazy. I mean, in that time, I watched a whole club beat up another club brother, and the club that he was with didn't do nothing about it. I saw that several times, and I never understood that. Just different things in general. So for me, the club hopping thing was me being brand new to an area, me not knowing nothing about motorcycling, and me just trying to figure this shit out. Okay. And just really, 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 really trying to figure this shit out. Block Burners was on fire at that time. They was doing their thing. Regulators was the gangsters of Atlanta at that time. They were the G's of Atlanta at that time, and they were doing their thing. And then here come the Kings, and the Kings were sprouting up, and Breed was here doing their thing, and there was a bunch of other clubs I can name. It was some female clubs and a bunch of other clubs, and not taking nothing from the OMCs, but that was a side that we never even dealt with back then. We're seeing more of the OMCs and the 1%ers now than what we ever did back then when I was in the club. We never even hung out with them. We never functioned with them or anything like that for the most part. But now we're intertwined. So anyway, this conversation comes from a post that I put on Facebook, and me and my man Capone were going back and forth about, how he feels about the whole thing. And then what he tried to do was, to me, he tried to use the fact that I've been in several clubs against me. I'm here today to say this, man. When it comes to this motorcycle thing, we're all at a disadvantage trying to figure it out, because you got to understand this. Neither one of us know anything about the club until we join the club. From the outside, from the pull-up game to what we see, to the vest, to the 4-5 brothers kicking it, hanging tough, and it looks like it's, oh my goodness, wow, this is the shit. But it's not until you get into the club that you realize, like, man, this is a bunch of fuckery. This is a bunch of BS. So when it comes to trying to find a home, and I'm gonna have to take this cue from it was 3 people that was 4 people. My man Snowman, my man Big Meat, my man Jay Dozier, and I wanted Sea-Dog. It was actually 4, and my man Pooh Man from Regulators. During my tenure with the Regulators was the most about motorcycling that I had ever learned, period. Their number one goal, and when this was me prospecting, their number one goal when I was a prospect was shut the fuck up, don't talk. Your whole job is to listen and ask questions. The only time you get to talk is when you're asking questions. And man, when I tell you I got my ass in trouble time and time again because of not asking the right questions or asking stupid questions. But again, to me, no question asked was stupid or whatever. But I'm just saying, to me, it was the most learning that I've ever did as an MC. One of the things that Snowman would always tell me is, "Sale, fuck what you heard. Go learn it from yourself. Go learn it for yourself. Go hear it for yourself. Don't believe what this person say just because they say it. Research it." And me being a research guru anyway, that's what I did. I ended up falling in love with the bike set from that journey. You feel me? And I ended up falling in love with the bike set. I ended up falling in love with motorcycling from that journey. And from that journey is where I am now, and it has made me the person that I am now. As far as the motorcycling, this motorcycle lifestyle, it can blind you. It can make you lose everything. It can help you be on your feet. It can sweep you off your feet. It's so many facets of the MC, and that you have to get in and get settled down and figure it out. Now, I applaud all of the people who's been in one club and one club only, but I'm going to tell you this, and I promise you this is fact. Phone lines is open. If you've been in one club from the beginning to the end, trust and believe there's times where you want to quit and times where you want to throw in the towel. I promise you. These clubs go up and down. They go up and down, and you just have to either wait it out, you have to figure it out, you have to work it out. For me at that time, me being new to Atlanta, Georgia, coming from the West Coast, I was trying to find somewhere to just let me fit in. Just let me be strange. I mean, I've been labeled a thief. I've been labeled a hustler. I've been labeled a con man. I've been labeled so much shit it don't even, man, please. And every time the label has been put on me, I ended up, it ended up not being true. My man Lee said, I think your experience proves that you need to hang around a club before joining. It's easy to appear to have your shit together on the surface. Stick around the club's true colors will be seen. And Lee, I'm with you on that. But let me tell you this. You can hang around a club all day, every day. You're not sitting in on them club meetings to hear the disgruntled club brothers. You're not sitting in on those executive meetings. And as a club, as a non-club member, you will never know fully the inner workings of a club. You will never know how strong the brotherhood is and or isn't outside of the club. Until you become a fully patched, 100% fully patched member, you will never know. I don't care what nobody tell you. You can hang around for 15 years. You can hang around for 3 years, 4. You can ride with them everywhere they go, the whole 9 yards. But until you become a fully patched member, you will never, ever, ever know that club, that brotherhood, the strength, the good, the bad, the ugly. You just will never know. And I think one of the biggest mistakes that are being made now is that, or have been made in the past and are being made now, is that people are not caring to know the history of motorcycling. Not the history of your club, but the history of motorcycling. If you take the time in that, if you say, hey, I want to join a motorcycle club, boom, if you take the time to learn the history of motorcycling, as factual or as non-factual as a lot of it is and or isn't, if you take the time to learn the history of motorcycling, take the time to understand what it's all about, now it will give you a better assessment of how to pick a club. So today, one of the things I want to try to give you some pointers on and picking a club. If you're deciding to join an MC club or you're in an MC club, how do you know you're in the right club, or how do you know whatever, or how to pick a club if you're not in one? So we're talking about club hoppers. For me, the Kings of the South was my second club, and I thought I would be there forever, hands down. But the Kings of the South, to me, was life. And no disrespect to Regulators, because Regulators at the time to me was life. But I was still brand new, my eyes wide open. I was still new to Atlanta. So a lot of stuff was it was a lot. The Regulators, I'm going to just say it like this. Pooh Man them probably going to kill me. Pooh Man and C-Dog and them, they going to probably kill me, J Doja. The Regulators wasn't fun. The Regulators was school. It was college. It was MC high school, MC college. The Regulators was never, and I'm not saying we never had fun. We had plenty of fun. But the Regulators was not fun. The Regulators was serious. When I joined the Kings of the South, after mastering motorcycling for the most part, after getting my history, after getting my bearings, after getting my mind together in the whole 9 yards. When I was a block burner, I didn't know shit. Block burners didn't teach shit. It was just, hey, boom, 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 boom. It's us, the block. The block is hot. Regulators was school. It was so it wasn't fun. It was school. It was learning. It was education, and we had fun occasionally. When I joined the Kings was a different level of motorcycling for me. The Kings was all about fun. You had to be damn near on a different financial status at the time, and we had a ball. Everywhere we went as Kings, it was just all about fun. We had a fucking ball. Period. And it was just a different level of motorcycling for me. So the Kings is what sparked, my independence, my little time in independence and joining the Kings. That's what sparked me to be here where I am today with a podcast and with a YouTube channel, the whole 9 yards. That's one of the reasons why it went to the next level, because I said, listen, there's nowhere in the world that everybody not having fun like this. If you're not living like this, if you're not having fun like this and your MC, then you in the wrong MC. Period. Because as Kings, man, as the KOTS, the 78, nigga, we had a fucking ball. Them early stages. And then you add that with the fact that I'm riding places, I'm meeting people, I'm meeting brand new clubs, introduce pound for pound to the world, bridge the gap between the West and the South, just different stuff that I was able to do, or we were able to do, or the motorcycle set was able to bring together. Because I don't want to put it focuses on me. But it's always about you. Hey, my accolades will be read they'll be on my obituary. Don't worry about it. You get to hear about all the stuff, great stuff that I did. But motorcycling became just my world. Period. At one time, I put over 100,000 miles on my bike in 1 year. I did 80. I was averaging, I went through 3 or 4 Harley Davidson. Each Harley Davidson was well over 100,000 miles. Period. My first bike I bought from the candy shop, over 100,000 miles. Period. I mean, just period. I fell in love, head over heels, gung ho. We riding. Let's go. I don't care. I used to leave here with $300 in my pocket, $500 in my pocket. It didn't matter back then. I was motorcycling on a fly. It didn't matter. Where we going? Lunch. We used to go back then as a king of the South, man. We used to go to lunch, North Carolina. Be like, hey, man, I heard Applebee's got a special in North Carolina. Shit, let's ride. I mean, it was just different then. I mean, even in Georgia, they had Frozen. The Frozen Palace was just closing up, but you had Barnacles, you had Dugan's, you had it was, brother, this is no exaggeration. When I was in the bike set early days of Georgia, you didn't get home till 5 or 6 in the morning. You got home just enough time to shit, shower, shave, put on your work clothes, and go to work. Period. You came right off your motorcycle, right into work. And that's what we used to do, that on a daily. That was every day. That was during the week. That was during, the whole 9 yards. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We didn't wait till the weekends to be out all night. We were out all night riding. We went through 2 and 3 tanks of gas damn near a day. Period. And that's facts. Anybody from the old Atlanta, they'll tell you that's exactly what it was. That part, my boy ASAP said, hey, we still having fun out here, man. So shout out to my man ASAP, man. Kings of the South. He said, kings up, baby, kings up. It is what it is, man. And that's the stuff you got to love about the bike set. So anyway, club hoppers that we know of are not the same as a person trying to find his way. I'm not saying, you can call me a club hopper all you want. I ended up hopping until I found my home, which is FHO. I was able to create a whole entire movement from my experiences from being on the bike set, my experiences from being in the club. And even though FHO is not an MC, we motorcycle damn near harder, bigger, badder than any MC out there. I said it, I ain't taking it back, period. FHO is one of the greatest things that ever happened to motorcycling, in my opinion. It just is what it is. So shout out to all my FHO members. You feel me? Keep doing your motherfucking thing.
I'm enjoying my motherfucking life. That's all I'm saying. I advise you to do the same. Do shit that make you happy.
Do shit that make you happy. So anyway, club hoppers. Over my course of the time, I've seen a person go from a founder of one club to a founder of another club. I've seen a person lose presidency and quit the club and start another club. I've seen a person find out that the broad he was fucking on somebody else, and he leave the club and start another club. And it's the same thing for the females. If the females, y'all don't get no pass either. Y'all be with the shits just as well. That part of club hopping is the part that the conversation was about. When you're a person that you join a club and for some other reason you don't get your way, or you have a disagreement, or you have a beef or whatever with a person or whatever that you can't work out as a man or whatever, and you leave and try to recruit other members to go with you, that's what you call club hoppers. Those are the people that destroy the MC set. Those are the people that never took the time to understand how this thing works. Let me tell you something. There is no one person, there's nobody in a motorcycle club 100% happy with his club. I can say that. That's facts. It is what it is. There is no one person in a motorcycle club 100% happy with his club. At some point in time, it's some bullshit going on, whether it involves him directly whether that, whatever it is. But there's no such thing as being 100% happy with your club. It just ain't gonna happen. But it's not so much the club. That's just the brother. That's the man in us. All of us, men and women, are trying to find our way. We're trying to understand this. The biggest problem that most people have, and the reason why you have a lot of club hoppers, is a person is only in the club for a purpose of shine, for the purpose of shine. So when you got a person in your club who came into the club was already popping, the club was hot, it was popular. He joined the club, and he came into the club thinking that he is popping more than the club. His goal is to become an officer or become whatever. And the minute that doesn't happen, now he's disgruntled. He's ready to leave, and he's ready to separate the club and take other members. And how you guys said, everybody start clicking up and doing whatever they do. That is the club hopper that you do not want on the set. But when you have a person like, for me, I'm gonna just use me for an example, and I can even use my sister Doc J for an example. Several people I can use, but I elevated. I went from an introductory to school to brotherhood, to an example of brotherhood with the Kings, and then I created my own thing. A lot of times I did a show called the VIP Superstars and Benchwarmers. That is real. If you haven't seen that video, please go back and watch it. Go to YouTube and type in FHO VIPs and it'll pop up. But in the course of motorcycling, those things happen. VIPs, superstars, and benchwarmers. And those things alter the course of your motorcycling, period. It can, it dictates how this thing works. At the end of the day, when you got people who have never been a part of nothing, who have never been popular their whole life, who have never been, played with. They didn't even have no friends. A girl wouldn't hug them or a boy wouldn't touch you or whatever it may be. When you join these motorcycle clubs, this shit lifts you up to a different level of I'm not going to say friendship, but it lifts you up to a different level of, popularity. Boom. Thank you, Jesus. It lifts you up to a different level of popularity. And sometimes a lot of people in these clubs don't know how to deal with the popularity of the club. They don't know how to deal with, being accepted by people who are not doing background checks. So we don't do background checks on the MC. We don't do background checks, when you want to be coming. We do our best to try to get to know you. We do our best to try to see what kind of person you are character-wise, but we don't do background checks. So a lot of you guys come into these clubs without having prior background checks and without having prior, association of knowledge, and you come into these clubs and you get the big head, and now you're trying to be something that you're not. And in the process of that, now we got you, now you want to be the president. Now you want to be the vice president, or now you want to be the secretary. Or now the biggest problem is now you never read the bylaws. You never read the bylaws, but now you don't want to follow the rules. You don't want to follow the rules. You just at a point now where, can't nobody tell me when to ride my motorcycle. The whole 9 yards. So now you're disgruntled, and now you're ready to lead a club, and now you're ready to start badmouthing the club that you with. And we all heard it. Come on now. Don't act like I'm the only one that heard people badmouth the clubs and this and that. And again, I'm telling you right now, I don't care what club you join, it is not perfect. It's going to be some bullshit. You're going to be involved in some bullshit. You're going to hear about some bullshit. You're going to see some bullshit. You're going to step in some bullshit. You're going to walk around some bullshit. Bullshit going to fall on you. Bullshit going to fall next to you. It's going to be some bullshit on your motorcycle. It's going to be some bullshit on your seat. In any club you join, I don't give a fuck how long you prospect. I don't care how long you wait to join. It's going to be some bullshit. But if you do your homework, you do your history, and you understand what motorcycling is all about, and you fall in love with motorcycling the way you're supposed to before you join a motorcycle club, then you'll know how to maneuver around. You know how to go to your seat, and when you see the bullshit, just wipe it off. You feel what I'm saying? When the bullshit fall next to you, you be like, oh, okay, that was close. You feel what I'm saying? You'll know how to navigate that. for me, moving from out West Coast down here, it was a transition for me. And in my transition, man, I met some beautiful people. I learned a lot of stuff. I learned a lot from the block burners. I learned a lot from regulators. I learned a lot from Kings, and to where I am now. And it's just a thing that you have to grow into. So sometimes when you have a person who joins a club, and we see it a lot probably with the female, probably more so with the females, but I've seen it with the men too. They joined this club. This club wasn't all what they thought it was, or whatever happened. They joined another club. Sometimes it may take you 3 or 4 clubs before you realize, or before you get it together. Is that a fair assessment to say? Sometimes it may take you 4 or 5 clubs, to get before you get it together. That it just does. It just takes you 4 or 5 clubs before you really find your home. It's just like, just like now. This is what we call our forever home. That's what we say. We spending all this money getting it together. It's supposed to be our forever home, but hell, let me hit the lotto and we may uproot this joint and head somewhere else. So it's just a matter. It's really just a matter of the individual. We know club hoppers. We know cats who are in and out of clubs for popular reasons. We know the summertime riders. We know the clubs that only come around for the annual. Like, I can tell you when it's a club's annual. So most of the clubs in Georgia, I can tell you, they must got an annual coming up. Yeah, they must got an event coming up, because that's, they come out campaigning, and they come out, they go from being 1 or 2 members all the time to their whole 22 roster, being out for the whole, month before their anniversary, the whole 9 yards. Different story for a different day. I'm not going to touch that because, that's a whole nother story. That'll take me down another rabbit hole. But club hopping. I'm going to just say this. For me, it was the best thing that ever happened to me, for me to be a part of all 3 of those clubs. And all 3 of those clubs were great organizations, super organizations. And they're still relevant to this day, period. Still major factors, still killing the game on their own level. You feel what I'm saying? So for me, it was a blessing. I thank all 3 clubs. I thank the block burners for allowing me to be a part of that sector. I thank the regulators for allowing me to be a part of that sector. I thank the Kings of the South for allowing me to be a part of that sector. And now here I am with FHO, and I thank the Lord for FHO. So did I club hop because I was disgruntled? No. Did I get put out of a few clubs for not understanding the rules and not understanding brotherhood or not understanding how to work together as a team? Yeah. I was young, and the world was my way at the time or no way. You feel me? And it just took the maturity in me as a person to get to the level that I am now, to where I can work out any situation. I don't run from situations. I work out situations. And I'm just saying that's what it was for me. But I believe each time I elevated. I elevated and elevated and elevated to the point to where I am now. But we got those club hoppers on the bike set who, 1 week they this vest, the next week they this vest, the ones who are always trying to pull other members to other clubs, et cetera, man. But I just wanted to come on here this morning, man, and give an explanation, because this was a conversation that was had about club hopping. And I'm here to tell anybody, don't let nobody get you down for trying to find a home. It's almost like dating. A club, trying to find the right brotherhood or the right sisterhood is almost like dating. And y'all all know that when you meet somebody, you meet their representative. It's the same thing when you're on the outside. When you meet that club, you meet the representative of that club. You meet the representatives. You don't get to know the club until you become a fully patched member, period. And I'm not telling you, once you find out, this ain't what it is, you have to be ready, and you have to be at a point in your life to where you're mature enough to be able to understand how to maneuver. I think that's one of the biggest things, the biggest mistakes that are being made in the clubs today, is we're not teaching how to maneuver. We're not being taught the definition of brotherhood. We're not being taught, listen here, brother, in brotherhood, you are not going to always get your way. It's not going to always be in your favor. You're not going to always agree. But you have to understand and roll with the majority. And I think a lot of people don't understand. A lot of people don't know how to roll with the majority. If the majority say this is what we're doing, I have to be happy with the majority vote, with the majority rule. And I think that's one of the biggest things that people are not being taught, how to roll with the majority rule, how to roll with, with the majority. So anyway, thank you, Tyrone Riley. What up with it? Is that my man Bear? That's my man Bear from Soul Brothers. What up, D-Ray? I see you, brother. What Lee says, it takes 4 to 5 clubs. You're the problem. Give it up. Be an independent. I'm with you, Lee. That may just be. That's what I had to do, and I'm not mad about it. Ain't no shame in my game, because I motorcycle with the greats. I motorcycle with the best of them. But that is something to consider. If you can't find a home within 2 or 3 clubs, or the first club, whatever it may be. I don't want to put no number on it because there's no right or wrong. But then it may be time for you to be independent. So that's definitely some true shit. But anyway, man, that's my time. I love y'all. Hope this message kind of reaches somebody, teaches somebody. I hope it gives somebody, some type of understanding of what it is, man. Understand this. This motorcycling shit is the funnest shit in the world. I've met the greatest people. I'll say it over and over again. I've met the greatest people. I've been to places that I never thought I would have been to or would have ever cared about going to had it not been for motorcycling. So I thank God for the motorcycling in my life. It has taken care of my family. It has fed me financially, the whole 9 yards. But I'm sold out to motorcycling. That is my passion. That is my love. That is my desire. So it's different for me. But I'm going to tell each and every person out there, take the time. Don't rush. Take your time. Do your history research on motorcycling, not just the club. And then do your history research on the club. And take a look at it and understand what it is. And if you decide to join, decide to never, ever leave. That means you're going to take the good, the bad, and the ugly all in one whop. All right? That's my time. I love y'all, man. It's your boy, Big Cell, FHOHNIC, man.
The Chosen.
Hey, cocksucker. Yeah, you.
Big Cell. You still.
Let's go.
Yo, testing 1 2, testing 1 2. Right now I'm podcasting with Mr. FHO, Big Cell, FHONIC, coast to coast, city to city, state to state. Talking nothing but some real motorcycle, you know what I'm talking about? Yeah, your boy, get at me. Ride with some players. Big Cell, what we talking about today, homie? What they talking about?
Big Cell. You still keeping it 100. Well, keep hitting those asses with the truth on FHO Podcast Radio.
I'm enjoying my motherfucking life. That's all I'm saying. I advise you to do the same. Do shit that make you happy.
My friends be like, how come you not famous yet? I be like, you didn't share my shit. How come you ain't shared it yet? That's what I don't understand. That's why I'm not famous.